Thank you, Chairman Guerrera, and also our Vice Chairman, who's here as well. And I also want to thank all the legislators that were able to be here given the very difficult weather. What you see behind us are just a partial number of legislators that have spent a great deal of time on this issue. They're very dedicated to the commuters on this line. They hear those problems day in and day out as well. They're committed to helping, and they should be recognized as well and will be available for you to ask them as questions. I want to personally thank our chairman and both Senator Maynard and Representative Guerrera and our vice chairman for taking this issue so seriously. They recognize that this commuter line represents one of the largest, if not the largest, commuter line in the country. It's also one of the busiest, also one of the most congested, and in fact represents a good portion of our economy. It is considered the lifeblood, in fact, of the lower Fairfield County's economy, where nearly a quarter of our state revenues comes to the state. And in addition, it's also the fastest growing with relationship to jobs of any county in Connecticut. It affects any slowdown or any stoppage will affect the tri-state area. And when we had a power outage that took those trains offline for 11 days, you could see the ripple effect immediately in our economy. We had 95 become a parking lot, so it just didn't affect the rail commuters and the businesses that depend on those employees, but it also affected our local economy in getting goods and services to them, and literally ground our part of the state to a halt, which affects the rest of the state as well. We also are taking this opportunity as a legislator, including all of the legislators behind us and the Transportation Committee, to write a letter, which you have a copy of, to our federal authorities, from the very top, the U.S. Department of Transportation, to our Federal Transit Administration, to our U.S. legislators as well, to ask that they might be looking at intervening and providing some both management expertise and also equipment expertise and also some funding. The problems that have been mounting over the last 2 years really have reached a crisis point. As we've said, we've never been in a situation where we've had so many instances, some of them certainly life-threatening. Commuters tell us they no longer feel safe riding the trains. I've had actual constituents say that they're reconsidering and possibly moving back to New York. That is the last thing that Connecticut needs right now, is to lose more residents to another state because of that. In addition, we've had some things that were serious, and it's just not about equipment. We're talking about poor management, the lack of oversight. There's been alleged fraud and criminal activity. And you will have a list of all of those attached to the letter that we're sending forward, which speaks to the complete breakdown of the management system of Metro North. And in fact, it's to a point where even parents are afraid to put their children safely on a train to get to school every day, as many of them do in this part of the state. Not to mention being stranded at all types of temperatures. What are we going to do? And our chairman has said so clearly that we have a very difficult contract with our vendor. Connecticut is the #1 customer for Metro North, and we're locked into a 60-year contract. We're 30 years into it. However, in that contract, there's an every 5-year renewal. We come up for renewal in 2015. We've seen other states, including Massachusetts, that has actually gone out for bid. We don't want to do that. We want to see things fixed. However, all options should be on the table. And in fact, our good governor and his administration should be holding their feet to the fire right now because things have gotten so bad. And we're saying that it's very important. We may need federal intervention at a higher level of government to correct the dangerous situation and bring this railroad into working orders. And so as this new administration is coming in now, we've seen a change in leadership. We're going to ask them for some help in that transitional period to literally make sure that we fix the problems that are there and people feel safe again on those rails, because safety is number one. It's not just infrastructure, although we're also asking them to prioritize federal funding for infrastructure because we have 100-year-old equipment here and the costs are so high, but it's also a national economic issue, this part of the country. But in addition to that, also management help and oversight that is so clearly lacking right now. So I'm going to finish here and allow others to speak, and also we'll be ready to also answer a lot of questions I'm sure you may have.